Hello, everyone, and welcome to Pro Wrestling Insiding Out. We are live, and on this episode, we are going to look at the beginning career of Tracy Smothers. We lost Tracy Smothers. I think it was the 28th of October. Am I correct, Jack?
Yeah, yeah. Yep, sure did. Sad loss. I had talked to Tracy the week before, and he told me things were not looking good. Tracy was a great guy, great guy. His funeral was today. It was only for close family members. They are going to have a memorial service sometime in the future, I think, in Evansville. So, we'll get a chance if anybody wants to go up and be a part of that. I know his family would appreciate that. And they have expressed their thanks to everyone for all the condolences, for the well wishes, and, just for the love shown to them.
Yeah, a lot of people. I know Edge sent some word about the way he helped him out when he first started, and so a lot of people said some great things about Tracy Smothers. Tracy was one of those guys. He could be nice at one moment, and he could turn on you in a dime. Yeah, I've been there. I've been there in that respect a few times from Tracy Smothers. But he would do anything for you though.
Yeah.
Even after turning on your dime, he'd usually come and talk to you, and he would be very nice about it. We looked at his career, and I want to look at his first couple of years, and then we'll get to the insiders, and we'll get their thoughts of him and other things that went on after he started. Wikipedia said that he started in 1982. I've never found anything, unless he wrestled under a mask or he wrestled as someone else during that point in time. I could not find any information. I can only find September of 1984 where he started. And we believe he was trained by Tojo Yamamoto. Someone we read said Stan Lane. I don't know if that's correct.
It couldn't have
I,
been Stan Lane. It could not have been Stan Lane.
yeah,
Tracy was
I,
too good because it had to be Tojo.
I remember Tracy talking about training with Tojo. So,
Yeah.
I'm not saying Stan couldn't have had maybe a hand in it at some point, but Tojo was the primary guy.
Well, he started. Jack, let's look at some of his first matches. It was in 1984. It starts September 18th for Pro Wrestling USA.
Yeah, September 18th, 1984, Mid-South Coliseum in Memphis, Tennessee. Road Warriors, Animal and Hawk defeated Tracy Smothers and Keith Eric. Pro Wrestling USA TV taping also September the 9th. September the 18th, Mid-South Coliseum, Memphis, Tennessee. Dory Funk Jr. and Harley Race defeated Mark Reagan and Tracy Smothers in 4 minutes and 32 seconds. Also on the 18th, must have been one heck of a TV taping, Masa Saito defeated Tracy Smothers in 2 minutes and 46 seconds. And then on the 29th, they moved to the Fairground Sports Arena in Nashville, Rick Rude versus Tracy Smothers. November the 1st, Fairgrounds Arena in Nashville, Tennessee, Kurt Von Hess versus Tracy Smothers. November the 3rd, Fairgrounds Sports Arena in Nashville, Phil Hickerson versus Tracy Smothers. December the 4th, Louisville Gardens in Louisville, Kentucky. Lynn Denton and Tony Anthony defeated Tracy Smothers and Tojo Yamamoto. And then on December the 25th, Christmas night, Louisville Gardens in Louisville, Kentucky, Danny Davis defeated Tracy Smothers. Then we moved to 1985, March the 11th, Mid-South Coliseum in Memphis. Mike Sharp defeated Tracy Smothers. March the 12th, my birthday, by the way, in case y'all want to send cigars. Louisville Gardens in Louisville, Kentucky. Tracy Smothers defeated Billy Travis. April the 6th, Nashville, Tennessee. The Angel defeated Tracy Smothers. And in 1985, May the 2nd, Nashville, Tennessee, Kareem Muhammad versus Tracy Smothers. And then June the 6th, 1985, Rump Arena in Lexington, Kentucky. Eddie Gilbert defeated Tracy Smothers. June the 10th, 1985, Mid-South Coliseum in Memphis. Tracy Smothers defeated Adrian Street. And then October the 1st, 1985, Louisville Gardens in Louisville, Kentucky. Tom Pritchard defeated Tracy Smothers.
Look at the people that Tracy Smothers got to wrestle in this first. I mean, Dory Funk Jr., Harley Race, Danny Davis, Mike Sharp. I mean, it's just a who's who in professional wrestling. So no wonder Tracy Smothers became the wrestler that he became, because look at the people that really helped him and got him to where he needed to be. I mean, that's incredible. All right, Rodney, you want to pick up his? All
right, so we go to November the 4th, 1985. It's Tracy Smothers and Billy Travis defeating Tom Pritchard and Pat Rose. Then we go to the Louisville Gardens, Louisville, Kentucky on November the 5th. Tracy Smothers and Billy Travis defeating Jonathan Boyd and Rip Morgan by disqualification. Back in Nashville, I guess that's the Fairgrounds Arena in Nashville on November the 16th, 1985. Tony Falk versus Tracy Smothers, winner unknown there. Then we go to the Fairgrounds Arena back in Nashville on January the 4th of 1986 is Buddy Landell versus Tracy Smothers, winner unknown there. Back to the TV taping in Memphis. It's Bill Dundee defeating Tracy Smothers for the NWA Southern, defeats Tracy Smothers, and that's for the NWA Southern title. That's on January the 18th of 1986. Then he heads to the Rapides Parish Coliseum in Alexandria, Louisiana on February the 8th, 1986. That's for Mid-South Wrestling. It's Tracy Smothers defeating Taurus Bulba. Then he heads to the Sam Houston Coliseum, Houston, Texas, February the 28th, 1986. It's the Sheepherders, Butch Miller, Luke Williams defeating Ricky Gibson and Tracy Smothers. Then it's the UWF in Baton Rouge. It's the Riverside Centralplex in Baton Rouge, Louisiana on March the 18th, 1986. Jack Victory versus Tracy Smothers, winner unknown there. UWF TV taping in Tulsa, Convention Center, Tulsa, Oklahoma. Dick Slater defeats Tracy Smothers. That's on March the 30th, 1986. Back at the Riverside Centralplex, Baton Rouge, Louisiana versus Tracy Smothers, winner unknown there. Convention Center, Tulsa, Oklahoma, April 13th, 1986. It's Buzz Sawyer defeating Tracy Smothers for the UWF or defeating Tracy Smothers. The UWF Television Championship was on the line. And then we're in LaFleur County Civic Center, Greenwood, Mississippi on April 23rd, 1986. It's the Blade Runners, Rock and Sting versus Brett Sawyer and Tracy Smothers. And, of course, winner apparently unknown on that one. Then we're back at the Convention Center in Tulsa. Apparently that's soon after. It's Kamala defeating Tracy Smothers. Then on May the 26th, 1986, he returns to the Mid-South Coliseum, Memphis, Tennessee. Tojo Yamamoto and Tracy Smothers defeat Pat Rose and Baron von Bronner.
You know, another the group of people that he was wrestling at this point just was spectacular. You know, he leaves. He's actually in Mid-South Wrestling when they changed it to the UWF. He has some great matches there. Then he makes his way back to the Mid-South and to Jarrett Promotions, and some great stuff. Let's look at a couple of newspaper ads and some photographs. Here's a photograph of Tracy Smothers around this time. But here is a newspaper ad from Nashville, Tennessee. The main event was the Southern Heavyweight title match. King Kong Bundy with Jimmy Hart against Randy Savage. International title match, Eddie Gilbert versus Lanny Poffo. Dutch Mantell against Tracy Smothers. That's another that's not on this list. As you see on Saturday, October 13th, 1984, six-man tag match, Rick Rude, Kurt Von Hess, and Jimmy Hart against Rufus R. Jones, Mark Reagan, and Tojo Yamamoto. Mark Reagan, evidently, I guess a couple of these guys must have wrestled twice against Rick Rude, Kurt Von Hess, and Rufus R. Jones, Tojo against Jimmy Hart on that card.
And that was the first match. You would think that would have been way up at right at the main event.
Yeah, pretty good card there, and Tracy going against Dutch Mantell. Here's another card, Nashville on May 2nd, 1985. The Fabulous Ones against the PYT Express. Jerry Oski against Bobby Colt. Mark Batten against Dr. D. Brad Batten against Mr. Wrestling. And there we see Tracy Smothers against Kareem Muhammad, which is Ray Candy. Billy Travis.
Don't ever call him Ray. Don't ever call him Ray.
All right, Jack, can you read over this one right here?
I can't even see that.
All right, I'll read over it then. I'll let Rodney read over this. Can you see
All right,
Rodney?
it's Tuesday, May the 28th at the Louisville Gardens, Louisville, Kentucky, in a showdown match. No referee in the ring. It's Jerry Lawler against Bruiser Brody. Pole strap match. Tojo Yamamoto. Jerry Jarrett with Jay Youngblood versus the PYT, Coco Ware, and Tex Newman. And then it's the Coal Miners Glove match. Randy Savage versus Jerry Oski. Jay Youngblood and Speed Tail Tree. That's a great name.
I think that's Tall Tree, ain't it?
Okay, that's good. Speed Tall Tree. It maybe makes more sense then. It's against Tommy Gilbert and Lemmy Poffo. Billy Travis against Tracy Smothers, and Kareem Muhammad against David Haskins.
Davey Haskins becomes Davey Rich soon after. But there you see another card. And he had to learn a lot from Billy Travis as well. Here's another one in Louisville on Tuesday, June 11, 1985. Jerry the King Lawler and Tojo Yamamoto versus the PYT Express, which is Norvell Austin and Coco Ware. Jay Youngblood and Kareem Muhammad. The Fabulous Ones against the Sheep Herders. The Mexican Angel against Jerry Oski. Exotic Adrian Street with Miss Linda against Tracy Smothers. Hey, this might have been where he defeated him.
Possible.
And Ron Sexton and Billy Travis against Mark and Brad Batten. All right, Rodney.
All right, back at the Louisville Gardens, it's September the 17th, 1985, and the main event is a Bad Street match. The Freebirds against Phil Hickerson and Jerry Lawler. Southern Tag Team title, no time limit, no disqualification, as the Fabulous Ones face the Sheep Herders. Coco Ware and Billy Travis versus Ron Sexton and Mr. Class with Buddy Wayne. If Travis and Ware win, Travis gets 5 minutes with Buddy Wayne. Tojo Yamamoto against Therese Bulba. And then it's Mongolian Stomper against Tracy Smothers. Mixed match. Jarrett and Candy Divine against Buddy Wayne and Sherry Martel, and the O'Reilly brothers versus Boda and Tom Branch.
Now, that was probably an experience for Tracy Smothers against the Mongolian Stomper, don't y'all think?
Yeah.
He probably got beat up a little bit in that match. There's no doubt. Archie Goldie was a man that let you know you were in the ring. Here's another one on Tuesday, October 1st, 1985 Louisville Gardens, AWA Southern Tag Team title. Dundee and Lawler against the Sheep Herders. Boda and Taurus Bubba with Tom Branch against the O'Reilly brothers with the Fabulous Ones. The Fabulous Ones against Ron Sexton and Black Shadow with Buddy Wayne. Mid-American title versus Masked. Mr. Class, which I don't know. Would that have been Ken Timms?
Yeah, I believe so.
Against Coco Ware. Hospital elimination match, Billy Travis and Buddy Wayne. The Stomper with Tom Ernesto against Tommy Wright and Tom Pritchard. One against Tracy Smothers. Another one for Tracy, as we see, just starting out, learning the craft of professional wrestling.
All right, we're back at the Louisville Gardens on Sunday afternoon. It looks like December the 22nd, right around Christmas. It's the main event for the Southern Heavyweight Championship. No time limit, no disqualification, no stopping the match. Coco Ware against Bill Dundee. International title match, Battle of the Texans. Dutch Mantel against Rick Casey. It's the Freedom Fighters against Phil Harrison and Jerry Lawler. The Fantastics against the Sheep Herders. With Boyd. Boyd will be handcuffed to Casey. It's Billy Travis and Tracy Smothers against Tom Pritchard and Pat Rose with Sherry Martel, Tojo Yamamoto, and Jerry Jarrett against Tony Falk and the Guru.
Look at this card that Tracy Smothers was a part of. The Freedom Fighters would eventually become the Ultimate Warrior and Sting. Rick Casey, I believe, if I'm not mistaken, that was Wildcat Wendell Cooley. Am I correct about this?
You're right. Yes, you are.
So I mean, just a great list of people on this card that Tracy could watch, and I'm not saying that he could watch the Freedom Fighters and learn anything, but there's
well, sure you can. You learn what not to do.
This is true. All right, here's another card on December 5th.
And that looks like, let's see, it's at the Henry County High School in Newcastle, Kentucky. Main event, Bill Dundee versus Coco Ware. Dutch Mantell against Rick Casey. It's the Sheepherders versus the Fantastics. The U.S. Power Team versus Tony Falk and the Guru. Tom Pritchard versus Tracy Smothers. Pat Rose against Billy Travis. And the ladies match, Sherry Martell versus Candy Devine.
And one last one while he was wrestling for the Mid-South Wrestling. As we see, it's the he got to go to Houston, Texas, the Sam Houston Coliseum, UWF North American title. Duggan, Axel Duggan, seconded by Coco Ware against Corchico. I've heard that he was probably one of the worst wrestlers in the history of wrestling.
He was Russian, Brent. He was Russian.
Okay. All right. Seconded by Hot Stuff Eddie Gilbert, the Sheepherders and Jack Victory against the Fantastics and Terry Taylor. Ted DiBiase and Dr. Death against the Blade Runners, managed by Hot Stuff Eddie Gilbert. Evidently, when Tracy left, the Freedom Fighters, I guess what they were called, or whatever they were called, they left at the same time and went to work for UWF. Coco Ware and Mad Dog Buzz Sawyer, Dave Peterson and Kamala, managed by Akbar, Rick Steiner and Chavo Guerrero, Brett Sawyer against Gustavo Mandonzo. I guess that's how you say that guy's name. And Taurus Bulba against Tracy Smothers on that card.
And ring announcer Cleet Dumpster.
Cleet Dumpster. You can't never forget. There's a photograph of Tracy Smothers during that time. There's no doubt we lost a great one in Tracy Smothers. I think probably people will remember him probably a lot for being a part of Continental Championship Wrestling. That's where we met him. And we remember him wrestling the Bear, the Wrestling Bear.
Yeah, he did. After everybody else chickened out, Tracy went out there and wrestled the Bear. And did it great. He did good with the Bear.
Yeah, I saw that match just the other day.
I remember the Bear. I remember that like it was just yesterday as the Bear was in the back. And they love to bring you close to that Bear so that Bear could take you down. Took me down in the back. As well, but Tracy did. Tracy went the whole gamut. He was in Birmingham, Florence, Columbus, Mississippi, not Knoxville maybe, but he went the whole route and wrestled against them, and he did very good against. And then not only did he have to wrestle against the Bear, but then right after that he had to have a match with Robert Fuller and Jimmy Golden.
So remember, Dutch Mantell had previous Bear fighting experience.
Yes,
remember that. And Wendell Cooley chickened out.
From what it was supposed to be Wendell Cooley, but we were in I believe Prattville, Alabama, and Wendell Cooley hurt his leg. We always said that Wendell he hurt his leg.
He chickened out.
Hurt his leg. I remember at the time we told him that, but Tracy stood in there. Tracy had already wrestled 2 Bears, I think, prior to that. So
yeah, he said he had wrestled 3 Bears in his life.
So he got to do that, and really and truly, I think Tracy is probably more known for wrestling Bears than he did anything in his career because there's not many people that's wrestled 3 in their time and lived to remember it and think about it, but. And then Tracy would go on and go and become one of the Young Pistols and with Steve Armstrong and World Championship Wrestling and so much stuff that we'll get into on a different episode, maybe part 2. We'll get into more of what Tracy Smothers did in his career. But I'll tell you, right now, let's go to the Insiders and see what they've got to say. But before we do that, I want to make sure that everybody knows if you've not got to YouTube, you've not subscribed, get over there and subscribe to the channel. It's absolutely free, cost you absolutely nothing. Pro Wrestling Inside and Out, that's what you have to put on the YouTube channel, and you'll go directly to that, and you'll be able to subscribe to the channel because a lot of things we're putting on there that's not on here. And if you're watching on Facebook, like and share the page. All right, here we go, guys. Let's see what they got to say. Dr. Phil Bo Grice is with us. Hello, professors. Professor Jack. Professor Rodney. And the end professor. Mickey Mayfield said, happy pre-election day, professors. Kirkpatrick said that I think he passed away at 4:24 a.m. on the October 28th. Am I correct?
Yeah, I believe that's right.
Stuart Kemp said, "Good evening, all. What will wrestling be like as we emerge from the virus? Great talent disappearing as we go. Sad indeed. We have lost a lot in 2020, more than we should, and so there's we will. I think we'll probably do an episode at the end of the year talking about all the greats that we did lose, and it's a been a sad year for professional wrestling." Jeremy Travis, good evening. Never saw Tracy Smothers live, but saw him a lot on TV. Great wrestler and tremendous loss. Tracy was tremendous in the ring. And TV, I don't even know if TV did him justice, because I'd say some of his greatest matches were never filmed.
Yeah.
You know, and he just had the timing. He just had the what it took to be a great professional wrestler. David Bai said, "Good evening, guys. Rest in peace, Tracy." Dennis Mitchell, hello, guys. Tracy Smothers will be missed. Who was his favorite wrestler when he was growing up? Had you heard, Jack, who his favorite wrestler was?
I just know he had just unlimited respect for Tojo, so I'm suspecting that's probably who it was.
And Tojo Yamamoto, for those people who probably maybe not know Memphis wrestling or Nick Goulas, Tojo, a huge wrestling star in the Memphis area. I mean, in the Chattanooga area, Birmingham, there was no one bigger star than Tojo Yamamoto. Mickey Mayfield said Tracy Smothers was a true worker, could go anywhere and make it to the top, and knew how to get there, and was very easy to work with. As when you ask him to do something in the ring, he went and done it. Didn't matter what it was, he went and done it. He didn't care to be beat. He just didn't. He was just there and loved professional wrestling. Douglas Herring said, "Yeah, I was excited to see Tracy Smothers. One day he brought me a pizza." He is one of those guys, though. He'd like to rib you as well. So,
oh yeah.
Doug Masters said, "Rest in peace, Tracy Smothers." Christopher Hughes said, "Hello, guys. A sad event indeed. A very good guy. Talented worker, both singles and tag team, whether heel or face. A great job always done. I personally like the Southern Boys gimmick. Rest in peace, Tracy Smothers." The Southern Boy thing, it was fine until they got to WCW, and that's the reason they changed them to the Young Pistols. So they felt like that they needed one that went worldwide. Wes Smith said, "Hello. How you doing, Wes?" Melissa, "I know Tracy's in a better place, but I still can't believe he's gone." Randy Ward, "Rest in peace, Tracy." Melissa said, "Thug." That interview that he used to do, where he would used to spell that out, and then he wouldn't spell it right because he said thugs don't know how to spell. That was tremendous.
G is for jail because a thug can't spell.
Just tremendous, just tremendous interview when he would do it, or for you newfangled folks, the promo. Well, I just in case y'all don't know what the interview is, I'll let people know you for the new wrestling fans out there. Mike Schaefer, one of the best. Could babyface or get heat? Boy, he could get some heat. Have y'all ever seen the video where he was at the Boogaloo Festival?
I sure have. He had people throwing stuff at him, and all he did is walk in the ring. That's pretty good.
Have you seen this, Jack?
Yeah.
I mean, he had them people hot, and they were throwing things. He got out of the ring and came back. I mean, he had them people so mad at him that Tracy could do it now. Tracy knew how to make you like him or how to make you hate him. And
I watched some video the other day of some of the more adult-oriented shows that he was on, and he walked out to the ring, and people they were throwing stuff. He gets up in the ring, he cusses at everybody, and he says, "Guys, I'm the good guy tonight. Y'all are supposed to be smart." You know.
Tracy was he knew how to push the buttons. There's no doubt.
Yeah.
He knew how to push the buttons. And Richard Hood said, "Rest in peace, Tracy." Christopher Hughes said Tracy said on a podcast with Bobby Blaze, Book of the Terror Series. He said that he started in 1983. I couldn't find anything of any matches that he had. Now, he could have wrestled under a mask. He could have wrestled as someone else. He might not have wrestled as Tracy Smothers. So everything that I found, I just found based on Tracy Smothers' name.
Well, the problem with Wikipedia, too, is that anybody can go in there and change things. So
yeah, so we're not for sure, but we did find his first matches, and I'd hate to know though. I had one of my first couple of matches, if it was for a couple. It's going against the Road Warriors. He was saying, "Now who am I wrestling tonight?"
And remember, on that show, he had to work 3 times.
That's true. And well, I mean, and you think about this though on his TV tape, and let's say this is his first. Maybe he wrestled for independent and what we called outlaw groups back then. But just think about that. They say, okay, you're going against the Road Warriors, and that's the first match you're going to do. And then they come to him and say, oh, after this, you're going to go against Dory Funk Jr. and Harley Race. And after that, oh, by the way, you're going against Mr. Saito as well. That had to make you almost sick to your stomach knowing you're going to wrestle these guys.
I guarantee you the ride home was not a fun one.
That's a lot of wrestlers right there to and then just a couple of weeks later he's going against Rick Rude, Kurt Von Hess, and Phil Hickerson and guys. So I mean he had I'm pretty sure they tested him, no doubt about that. Glenn Shelton said, hello. How you doing, Glenn? Thunderbolt Patterson, Richard Hood said, I'm going to call you Ray. Glenn Allen Shelton said, rest in peace, Tracy. Kevin said, I nearly pulled a George Jones.
Uh-oh. Yep.
Well, that means you're late. You can send your late feed to Jack. He is our treasurer.
Christmas is almost on us.
That's right. Good Christmas gift for Jack for this Christmas thing. Larry B. Bob Hathcock said, hey, guys, thank all y'all who do y'all make us workers happy. I think I just messed up that whatever he said, but I think I got the gist of it, don't you? I think
if you've ever talked to B. Bob, he probably messed it up if he was saying it anyway.
Well, we'll just say thank you so much, Larry Hathcock, and we appreciate that. So you can get eliminated in a hospital. No, a hospital elimination match most of the time meant that if you bled, I believe, and they could have been carried out, could have been like a stretcher match sometimes, but I think it was one of those where you bled, right?
Yeah, Brent, I hate to tell you this.
What?
He was being sarcastic.
Oh, I'm sorry, Kevin. I didn't realize you were sarcastic. I apologize.
And yes, you can be eliminated in the hospital.
Well, yeah, I've been there when some people have been eliminated in the hospital. So, all right, here we go. Glenn Allen Shelton said, great person, was one of the best champs for us. NWA Mid-South new version. And Tracy didn't mind helping train and help the younger wrestlers. Either good or bad, he would tell you exactly what you did wrong or what you did right. So he was good at that. Melissa said, was the card where Tracy and Tom pulled over one night after the match? It could have been, but I think that might have been a little bit later than that, wouldn't it?
I think so.
I think it might have been later on when they had that problem, but it could have been there in this time, but I think it might have been later on. I know Tom Pritchard did post something about that, and maybe we could ask.
That was a really nice write-up that he made.
I think that was while he was at Smoky Mountain Wrestling, wasn't it?
Yes, I believe it was Smoky Mountain.
Yeah, I think that was Smoky Mountain Wrestling, so that'd been years later when that happened. So. Guys, how is Scott Casey doing? I don't know. Have y'all heard of Scott Casey?
Actually, he's on Facebook now. He's got a new book out. He's going around doing some appearances and pushing his book. So he's still with us, doing well from what I've gathered.
Christopher Hughes said some really good cards there in the mix. Love me to get some great Southern wrestling. There was nothing like it. That is true.
Yeah.
In the future here, we're going to look at some reviews, some World Wrestling Federation events, especially in 1984. It's coming soon. We're going to be doing one on when Hulk Hogan won the world title, and I have reviewed some of the matches. Southern wrestling was a whole lot better than that wrestling. I think it was more exciting. It kept you on the edge of your seat. Some of those matches, I fell asleep during. So, but one big night to talk about when Hulk Hogan won the World Wrestling Federation heavyweight title. Who on the card was the best? Is that Shelton?
I think he meant when Tracy was on the card, he was the best one on there.
All right, I agree. He was very good at what he did. He turned heel in the middle of the show at Tony Falk's show in Paducah. I could just imagine the heat of that.
A few years ago, I went up to North Carolina and helped Tracy run a training camp, a one-day training camp. And Tracy, we had several young guys there, and Tracy was taking his time with everybody and in the ring, and I was working with him outside the ring. And I remember this one kid that was he was struggling hard. And Tracy went over to him and he said, "Son, you okay?" And he said, "I don't know." And he said, "Well, you can quit if you want to. It's not going to make me mad. You've already paid me. You can quit if you want to. You can just go ahead and quit now if you want to. If quit's all you got, just go ahead and quit." And that boy didn't quit. And in fact, he's going on to be pretty good. But that was Tracy using that reverse psychology, getting him to dig down deep and get through it.
Kevin said he just bought some cigars, so he'll make sure.
I'm almost out. I'm down to my last 100.
Terry Listograph said, "Good evening, Brent, Rodney, and Jack."
Hey, Terry. I miss Terry. Terry always brought me a cigar.
Well, he worked for us a lot. Glenn Allen Shelton said, Douglas Aaron said, "I watched him wrestle live countless times, and you got to see a great match. Tracy, you always was going to have a good match. You wasn't going to be bored when you watched Tracy Smothers." Glenn said, "We didn't take him Nashville until 2004. Oh, that's right. Freddie Joe Floyd. I about forget that he wrestled in the WWF as Freddie Joe Floyd. I never understood that. Why did they change his name to Freddie Joe Floyd?"
That was Vince never liked anybody from the South. So he always, made a funny deal out of it. It's like Dirty White Boy doing the plumber gimmick. He just didn't respect Southern wrestlers, which, funny enough, one of the most overstars he ever had was Steve Austin, who was from the South.
This is true. This is true. I would figure Shawn Michaels from the South as well, right? I mean, from Texas too. So he's from the South as well. So he's had a lot of people.
Nobody claimed Shawn for a long time, though.
Maybe they claim him now. I've heard that he's a better person.
Yeah, that's what I've heard too.
To me, was Armstrong by heart, not blood? That's true. That's true. Steve Armstrong loved Tracy Smothers. Every time we would get in touch with Steve, he'd say, "Okay, I got Tracy. I got Tracy." Always, never failed.
Yeah, Brian Road Dogg posted the other day that about Tracy being an honorary brother. That they just felt like he was part of the family and treated him as such. So that's pretty high praise.
Yes, yeah, he was always. It didn't matter. So you would do book and show. Well, what about Tracy? What about Tracy? And they would all do it. All the Armstrongs. But what about Tracy? So they really and truly love it. Tracy Smothers destroyed Gypsy Joe back in 1984. Gypsy Joe enjoyed getting beat up, so he probably didn't mind it at all.
No.
He probably called it.
That's probably true. He loved to get beat up for some reason. Had him in a cage, Sabu and Tracy against Rich and Doug and Dyersburg. But that was a good match. Glenn said Yankee wrestling. They had some parts of it good, some parts of it was really,
Yeah.
Richard Hood said, Brett, don't forget All South Wrestling Alliance, 1972, 1974. I am doing research on it. As soon as I get it, and we kind of know what we're talking about, we will get that in there, Richards, for sure. We're working on it. So. In 76, we moved to Savannah from Atlanta. It was there I saw my first WWE match on HBO. Talk about culture shock from watching Georgia Championship Wrestling to that show. I was greatly disappointed. Different kind of wrestling. AWA was different. So all the wrestling was different back then, though. Even the Southern wrestling had their different styles. So.
Oh, yeah.
Jack, Hulk Hogan was from the South.
Let me correct you, Richard. Hulk Hogan is from Florida, and we don't consider that part of the South. Now that we've clarified that, I love you.
Jack said Steve Armstrong, Tracy Smothers, an amazing tag team, had their timing and stuff just down pat. They are the people that showed up the very night that the Midnight Rockers, Marty Jannetty, Shawn Michaels was fired. You would think they probably, when they walked into the dressing room, they saw those two guys in the dressing room. You would think they said, you know what, we're going to get fired tonight. Because it was set for them to be fired in Coleman, Alabama. That particular night, they were going to be fired. Even though in his book, Shawn Michaels says he quit. No, he got fired. So that's it. Shawn Michaels does not have that right in his book. If he wants to argue about that and complain about that, we can't do that. But he was fired that night. He was going to be fired. Even though they might have been a talking to, he was going to get fired. So. Anita Lynn Snow, Wild-Eyed Southern Boys, rocked about well weekly. Some of the best times. Being a roadie. Except Putt-Putt with the West Brothers. Yes. I can't remember who won Anita, but I think it was probably me. There was some quietness going on right there, so I don't know. Dennis Mitchell said Vince McMahon is whatever. I'm not for sure.
Hypocrite.
Hypocrite. Okay.
I know what he's talking about. He was born in Pineville, North Carolina. That's all you.
That's true. He was born in the South. In your guy's opinion, you think Jay Bell is feeling remorse the way he treated Tracy in WWE?
I don't think he's capable of feeling remorse.
No, I don't think so either. I don't. Danny Hodge destroyed Gypsy Joe. Now I can see that happening on a.
Yeah. He's one of the few. One of the few.
Anderson. So Danny Hodge can beat anybody. They said he had the strength, just the strength in his hands. He could hurt you just grabbing a hold of you.
Was it Solly say? Double tendon strength.
I think he did. Kevin Finley said, wasn't Hulk Hogan born in Augusta, Georgia? Yes, he was. I think he was. He grew up in Augusta. I think he eventually moved to Tampa, the Tampa area. Because I know he went to high school in Tampa. And he did say, Richard Hood said, yes, he was born in Augusta, Georgia. David
we're getting rid of Augusta from the South now, Richard. How about that?
David Lawson said Tracy's best run was in Smoky Mountain, I think, personally. His matches with Dirty White Boy were great. Boy, they were some good matches.
Yeah. I just posted one the other day, a chain match they had. Outstanding.
Anita said she thought you won that. But
of course, I did.
I don't know. That was many years ago, 30 some odd years ago now. So a lot of brain cells are gone at this point in my life. Daddy Hodge was famous for breaking pliers. Yes. Actually did that in front of like a whole group of senators and governors in Oklahoma City. So Kevin Penley said, one of my mom's friends went to school with Hulk, and someone asked her if she replied, what's a Hulk Hogan? Well, Hulk Hogan, probably I think he was probably one of the most recognizable stars in professional wrestling. I don't know that there's anyone else that can. I guess Rock can be there at this point as well because. But I'm thinking some people might know more of Rock from being in the movies now than they remember him as a wrestler. So.
Well, it's been almost 20 years since he was a full-time wrestler. So
yeah. All right, guys, is there anything that we need to talk about Tracy Smothers? Because we are going to do a part 2 of Tracy Smothers, and we're going to go through his whole career and talk about some of the things that he did because he did a lot. He did a lot in professional wrestling, so we'll do a couple of more episodes. Is there anything that we need to discuss tonight before we leave the program?
Now, I would just add, talking with Tracy over the last couple of months, he was always so grateful to the fans for getting in touch with him, and all the fundraiser shows that went on that helped him financially, and he just he loved you guys. He did.
Rodney, any final comments about Tracy Smothers? I'd like to, of course, give our condolences out to his family. Our prayers are with you. Prayers with you.
Folks, Tracy Smothers, one of the greats in professional wrestling. We have lost a lot of our greats in professional wrestling in the last few years, but what we are hoping to do here on Pro Wrestling Inside and Out is keep their memories alive, whether it be Bob Armstrong or Brad Armstrong, Tracy Smothers, Kamala, or anyone else who has passed away in professional wrestling. That's what we're going to do. We're going to keep their memories alive here, and we thank you for being a part of that. And tomorrow night, we talk World Championship Wrestling. We will talk about a match that happened between Sam Houston and Ric Flair that was tremendous. Yep. And then there's a few things we're going to talk about that wasn't so good. But tune in, you'll see exactly, and you'll hear exactly what we felt about those matches. All right, guys. Rodney, thank you so much. Jack, thank you, and thank you for being a part of this look back at Tracy Smothers. We'll see you tomorrow night right here, 7:30 p.m. as we talk about World Championship Wrestling.